Understanding misogyny, more than just misogyny. Misogyny is more than just disliking women, it is a deep hatred and prejudice against women and girls. This hatred is rooted in the belief that men are superior to women. Misogyny seeks to control and punish women who challenge male dominance. It is a form of sexism, but it goes further than just discrimination. Misogyny aims to keep women in a position of inferiority. Misogyny impacts every aspect of women's lives. It limits their opportunities and freedoms, it affects their safety and well-being. Misogyny is a pervasive problem that has plagued societies for centuries. It is essential to understand its roots, manifestations, and consequences to combat it effectively. Misogyny is not just a personal problem, it is a societal one. It is woven into the fabric of our cultures and institutions. Challenging misogyny requires a collective effort to dismantle the systems that perpetuate it. We must work together to create a world where women are valued, respected, and treated as equals. Misogyny has a long and pervasive history, deeply woven into the fabric of societies across the globe. Evidence of misogyny can be found in ancient art, literature, mythology, and religious texts. These historical artifacts often depict women as inferior, subservient, or even dangerous beings. The term misogyny itself has its roots in ancient Greece. It is derived from the Greek words misos, hatred, and gune, woman. While the term itself was coined later, the sentiment it describes has been present for millennia. Throughout history, various cultures have developed social structures, laws, and customs that reinforced male dominance and female subordination. From denying women access to education and property rights to controlling their reproductive choices, misogyny has manifested in countless ways. This deep-seated prejudice against women has had a profound impact on the course of history, shaping societies and limiting opportunities for countless women throughout generations. Understanding its historical context is crucial for comprehending the persistent nature of misogyny and for effectively challenging it in the present day. Misogyny manifests in a wide range of ways, from subtle, everyday biases to brutal acts of violence. It can be overt and easily recognizable, such as hate speech or physical assault. However, it can also be insidious and harder to detect, operating through unconscious biases and systemic discrimination. Violent manifestations of misogyny are a grave concern. These include domestic violence, sexual assault, femicide, the killing of women because they are women, and misogynistic terrorism, where women are targeted as a group. These acts of violence are often fueled by a sense of male entitlement and a desire to control and punish women. Non-violent forms of misogyny are equally harmful, though they may be less visible. They include sexual harassment, online abuse, slut-shaming, body shaming, and the devaluation of women's experiences and voices. These forms of misogyny contribute to a culture where women feel unsafe, disrespected, and unequal. It is important to recognize that misogyny can be both individual and systemic. Individual acts of misogyny are perpetrated by individuals, while systemic misogyny is embedded in the structures of society, such as laws, institutions, and cultural norms. Section 4. Philosophy's dark side: misogyny in the words of great thinkers. While often associated with progress and enlightenment, the realm of philosophy has not been immune to the pervasive influence of misogyny. The writings of several influential philosophers, whose ideas have shaped Western thought for centuries, reveal deeply ingrained misogynistic attitudes. Aristotle, considered one of the founding fathers of Western philosophy, believed that women were inherently inferior to men. He saw women as incomplete men, lacking the rational capacity and moral virtue he attributed to the male sex. This view of women as intellectually and morally inferior had a lasting impact on Western thought. Another prominent figure, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, a key Enlightenment thinker, emphasized the natural differences between men and women. He argued that women's roles should be confined to the domestic sphere, subservient to men. His ideas reinforced traditional gender roles and limited women's opportunities for education and public participation. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, known for his pessimism, held deeply misogynistic views. He believed that women were inherently deceitful, manipulative, and driven by irrational emotions. His writings contributed to the negative stereotypes of women as cunning and untrustworthy. Even Friedrich Nietzsche, often celebrated for his critiques of traditional morality, expressed misogynistic sentiments in his work. While he occasionally praised certain qualities in women, he also characterized them as weak, vain, and resentful. The presence of misogynistic ideas in the works of these influential thinkers highlights how deeply ingrained these prejudices were within Western intellectual tradition. Their ideas, while not always explicitly advocating for the subordination of women, often serve to justify and reinforce existing power imbalances between the sexes. Understanding the historical context of these philosophical perspectives is crucial for recognizing how they may have contributed to the perpetuation of misogynistic attitudes and for challenging their continued influence in contemporary thought. Section 5. The Digital Breeding Ground, Online Platforms, and the Spread of Misogyny. In the digital age, the internet has become a fertile breeding ground for misogyny. While offering opportunities for connection and communication, online platforms have also provided new avenues for the spread of misogynistic ideas and behaviors. The anonymity of the internet often emboldens individuals to express hatred and prejudice that they might not feel comfortable voicing in face-to-face interactions. Online platforms can create echo chambers where misogynistic views are reinforced and amplified, normalizing hateful rhetoric and making it seem more acceptable. Social media platforms in particular have become notorious for the proliferation of misogynistic abuse. Women who are vocal online, especially those who challenge traditional gender roles or speak out against sexism, often find themselves targeted with vicious attacks. This online harassment can take many forms, including insults, threats, doxing, and coordinated campaigns of abuse. The rise of online misogyny is closely linked to the growth of certain online communities and ideologies that promote hatred and violence against women. These groups often operate under the guise of men's rights movements or espouse extreme views about gender roles and relationships. They use online platforms to recruit new members, spread their ideology, and incite violence against women.